First of all, thanks everyone for joining the yet another webinar on Dynamic 365 from D365 Global Community. So we majorly started D365 Global Community some time back with the intention of network, learn and grow, as well as just to learn more on Dynamic 365. And we have been conducting webinars on every Wednesday. That means two Wednesdays on every month. And this time we have changed that a bit, and the timing has also we have changed. Otherwise, we'll be conducting that on 8 to 8:45 p.m. IST. This time we have changed that a bit, and then we move that into a Saturday as well. So as part of D365 Global Community, we try to promote knowledge sharing on Dynamics 365. As we know that since the inception of Dynamics 365 in November 2016, people are a little bit, not very educated about what are the different things that we have under Dynamics 365. Very fortunately, now we have pretty much good idea about what is Dynamics 365 and what are the different components coming under this technology. And also, we can see there are a lot of opportunities coming up in the Dynamics 365 and related community. And one of the last webinar that we had was on Power Platform, where we majorly talk about Power BI, Microsoft Flow, as well as on Power Apps, and what is the role of Microsoft Power Platform along with Dynamics 365. So we have set up a forum for Dynamics 365 and related topics, as well as we have a blog. So a couple of us regularly write blogs on Dynamics 365 topics. And also we are trying to make the events more useful as well as more frequent. Now we are doing that twice in a month. I'm sorry for that. Twice in a month, so mostly at this time. And then give me a second. Yeah, so we are updating a lot of things on the website. First of all, just to publish the events happening on every 2 weekends, as well as just to add more contents on the blog part. So with that, let me talk about today's webinar. So today's webinar is conducted by Sandeep Kolarmitil. So he's going to talk about how we can overcome the security challenges that comes up when you integrate Dynamics 365 with SharePoint with one of the powerful tools that is available in App Source. So let me hand over this to Sandeep. Over to you, Sandeep.
Yeah, thanks, Firoz. Let me share my screen.
Sure.
Are you guys able to see my screen?
Yeah.
Okay. So good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everyone. And thank you for joining today's virtual Expert Connect session on overcome security challenges in Dynamics 365 customer engagement and SharePoint integration. A small introduction about me. I'm Sandeep Kolarvitil. I'm based out of Toronto, Canada. I have around 11 years of experience in Dynamics 365 world. Coming back to the sessions, today's virtual connect is scheduled for about 45 minutes. For the first 30 minutes, I'll share my presentation, and rest 15 minutes will be scheduled for Q&A. Please feel free to ask questions on topics that are covered as part of the presentation, and keep your questions generic for everyone's benefit. I'll request the audience to be on mute for first 30 minutes and unmute yourself during Q&A session. Today's session will be recorded and published on Dynamics 365 Global Community YouTube channel. Session details will be shared to everyone in a separate email. So let's begin with the presentation now. So let's talk about what is the agenda for today's session. So I'm going to talk about why SharePoint integration is required, and then we will look into the problem statements, and the solution which I'm going to talk about today is like a CB Replicator. So then the key features of that product, And then I'm going to talk about the supported versions, deployment options, pricing, and finally I'll do a quick demo on the product. So let's talk about the why SharePoint integration is required. So there are hundreds of reasons for that. Definitely, we can think about the version control and other lot of other benefits. But in terms of if you know about this thing, like did you know about you can save tons of money on storage by storing documents on SharePoint instead of Dynamics 365 CE. So normally CRM storage in Dynamics 365 for sales cost 9.99 per gigabyte per month. For companies with lots of emails, codes, and other documents to store, that can add up quickly, especially if you're storing images. A great alternative is to store your document in SharePoint. The SharePoint storage is only $0.20 per gigabyte per month. That is around one by 50th times the total cost. So now let's look into the what is a problem statement here is like when we go to the out of box integration between the Dynamics 365 customer engagement and SharePoint as a document storage has a lot of advantages but also some disadvantages. The most significant disadvantage is absence of permission integration. Each one of the system has its own security model and there is no out-of-box integration between them. This undesirable behavior causes serious security issues in many companies. So this is the out-of-box Dynamics 365 integration with SharePoint. So normally a SharePoint folder is created by default for each CRM records containing documents relevant to the record. CRM controls who can see a record through its security model. However, anyone who has permission to view documents in SharePoint can gain access to those documents they are not supposed to. So if you can see here is like normally if you are have an access to the account record in CRM, they can definitely get an access to the document in SharePoint. But there is a scenario when you do an out-of-box integration, the person who has an access to a SharePoint, they can actually look into other documents as well, which is not shared with that person specifically. In this scenario, you can see the account 2 is not shared with the user B, but still he can go into the SharePoint and look into the account 2 documents. These are the gap we are talking. So there is no out-of-box solution available in the market. So I mean, in the market, since Microsoft is not provided with as part of the solution, so we have to go with another third-party product. So let's talk about the solution which are available in the market. So the CB Dynamics 3 CRM SharePoint Permission Replicator, which is coming from the connecting software product, solves this problem easily. So CB Replicator is the only out-of-box solution that remediates this issue by automatically synchronizing dynamic CRM privileges with SharePoint permissions. So if you look at the solution, the picture I have shown you earlier, you can see there is a CB replicator is placed in between, which can synchronize the permissions between dynamic CRM and SharePoint. So in this case, the person user B who has no access to the account 2 cannot see the documents in SharePoint. So this is a solution. If you look at the overall solution of the CB replicator, it talk about there is no direct access to backend database of neither SharePoint or nor Dynamic CRM. Interaction with Dynamic CRM and SharePoint only through APIs. The communication is SSL communication, secure communication is there. access only using SharePoint site admin credentials. So when you look at the key features of that CB replicator, there are you can see that I list out all the key features. So basically, to replicate the CRM permission as items folder level permission in SharePoint document libraries, supported as are also SharePoint sites and document libraries, and it's basically a event-based service, and you can configure the user mapping and configure permission mapping. It supports multi-tenancy, multiple SharePoint support, and load balancing and high availability all are available in the system. So this is a very high-level architecture of CB Replicator. So you can see the Dynamics 365 is sitting here and SharePoint, and there are a couple of components from the CB Replicator is actually taking care of this replication process. So let's talk about how does it work. So CB Replicator, CB Dynamics CRM privileges to SharePoint permission replicator consisting of following components. Um, so first one is a CB Replicator core service and CB Replicator writer service. Then there is a CB Replicator server service. And eventually there is a one solution, which is a CRM solution, that is a CB Replicator solution, which installed as part of the installation process in Dynamics 365. So the CRM solution contains plugin that register all the steps that can influence permissions in Dynamics CRM. When one of these steps occurs, the plugin will notify CB Replicator core service. The service will ensure permission write into SharePoint. This ensures that the write in the CRM will exactly replicate to SharePoint folders. There are several ways to change permission in CRM, and this solution cover all of them. So you can see these are the different um, permission available in CRM, right? So we can control with the user security roles, record ownership, record status, sharing, team, and access templates, business unit hierarchy, and hierarchy security. That is a manager and position which is available from CRM 2015 onwards. So these are the mapping between the different security object in CRM and SharePoint. So you can see most of the users are mapped to the user level, and when it's come to the team and access team kind of thing is mapped to the SharePoint groups. So the rest of the things you can see in this table. So when it's come to the supported versions, the CB Replicator pretty much cover all the Dynamics CRM versions, like 2011 onwards to CRM Online, and which support the 365 sales, customer service, and field service. And SharePoint is like a 2010, 13, 16, and 19, and which include SharePoint Online. So which means it's covered pretty much all the versions available in the market right now. Well, let's talk about why customer use CB Dynamics CRM to SharePoint permission replicator. So this is 100% secure, covers all security model of Dynamics 365 customer engagement, easy user mapping with the Active Directory, and the easy installation is ready to use within 20 minutes. Will run 24/7 without unnecessary maintenance. Then there is an updates and tech support included as a part of the package. When it's come to the deployment option, they are offering 3 different flavors. So one is like a self-hosted, then Microsoft Azure and connecting software. So when it's come to the self-hosted, when you have an on-premise server, you can install their product, and that's going to take a little more deployment time. If you look at that, it's like a 1 hour or less time. That's what they're offering. But if you look at the Microsoft Azure and connecting software, is taking only less than 30 minutes. So Microsoft Azure is like you can rent out an Microsoft Azure virtual machine with a software ready to use. You can directly start using the product. and this is a SaaS service from the connecting software. So when it's come to the pricing, there are three flavors I already mentioned. So I'll just quickly jump into the pricing page. So when it's come to the SaaS one, normally they are giving a different pricing options. So when it's come to the 20 to 50 users, the pricing range from, yeah, this one is a good one, $4 user per month. But if you are going beyond that 50 users license, it's gonna, the price is coming down, reducing drastically. Then the second option, as I mentioned, it's a CB Replicator as a part of the Azure Marketplace. So you can see the pricing information is here. It's costing starting from 0.314 per hour, dollars per Azure infrastructure cost. So when it's come to the self-hosting hosted situation, it is almost everything is like it's a one-time payment. You have to pay for that, and there is a 20% annual update and maintenance fee applies into this situation. But it's pretty much cheaper in terms of if I'm looking at this compared to if you're doing a custom development on this problem. So let me quickly jump into the demo and I'll show you how that is working. So this is a Dynamics 365 customer engagement solution. I logged in as one user, Jim Smith, and this user is a salesperson. So let me switch my browser into Firefox. So here, what I did is I logged in with the Ben Foster, and this is under different business unit. So what's happening is like in out-of-box scenario, so you can definitely get an access to that particular location, right? So if you open any of the account, so if you go to the Ben Foster account, and if you click on the documents, you can see the document is available here. So when you click on the open location, what happens is like it will pop up this window. And you can actually go back to site content and go to that particular account library, and you can see in the outer box implementation, you can see not only the Ben Foster account folder, you can see all other records available here, all the folders available here. So let's look into the scenario here. Let me try to replicate that problem here. So what I'm going to do is like I'm going to create a new account. So then I'm going to click on this documents. So this already this CRM is the server side integration is enabled for the SharePoint. So now I'm going to upload a document here. So once you open this SharePoint, you can see, if you refresh this, you can see the folder is created with the Ben Foster account name, and the GUID of the record. And inside that, you can see the Ben Foster record. So when I switch back to the James account, so this is the Internet Explorer where I logged in as a James Smith. So if I come back to this and if I look into the site content, if I go inside, you cannot see really that Ben Foster folders over here. But if you do an out-of-box integration, you can see all the folders inside this. So here, the reason is because I already enabled the CB replicator, which actually controlling this permissions setup. So what I can do is like to replicate the scenario. I'm going back to the Ben Foster. I'll just open the Ben Foster account record. I'm gonna do a sharing of the record here. Then we'll see how the James Smith is able to do this, anything on this. So when I do this way, I'm just giving a read permission and I click on share. Then I'm switching back to the James account. So if you refresh this thing, you can see it's not even refreshing, it's automatically available for the Ben Foster. And you can see definitely the record is also available here. So this is one of the benefits. So you can, the same way you can actually remove from the CRM. So when if I, for example, I remove that sharing, I can remove this user from here. If I go back to Benfos, James account, you can refresh this. Yeah, that the Ben Foster SharePoint folder is removed from the SharePoint. So they are pretty much controlling all the folder level security permissions. So now I'm going to show you how this is happening. So here what I'm showing is like the connecting software CB replicator configuration setup. So for the demo purpose, what I have done is like I set up a SaaS version of the replicator. So what you can see here is like you can go to the dashboard. This one setup is pretty straightforward. I can show you how to do that. It's a very easy option. So when you go to this SharePoint CRM SharePoint permission replicator option, you have an option to configure the entire setup. So it's pretty straightforward. You can directly provide you the dynamic CRM URL and the SharePoint site collection URL and provide your credentials. That is only thing required for this thing to set up. So it's already started. That's the reason it's replicating the permissions. And if you go to the view log, you can see what I have done here is like there's an event share record event happened here. So James Smith is shared and given a read permission. And similarly, I removed the Jim. So you can see all the event is tracked under this event log section. Then there's a user mapping. So as I'm using this all are the Office 365, I mean the online version. So I don't need to do anything. The replicator will automatically identify the CRM user and map to the SharePoint user. And if you wanted to block the user, you can actually perform from here. But otherwise, by default, it does the job. You can change that automatic into manual mode as well. But I prefer to keep it as automatic so that I don't need to explicitly make that changes. Whenever I add any user, in the CRM and SharePoint, it's automatically map it, and it does the job. I started mapping that. So when it's come to the CRM side, you can see there is a solutions added into the CRM solution area as a part of the deployment. So it is pretty straightforward thing. You can see a couple of entities, and Rust is like just a plugin solution they installed in this. So there is a one plugin event receiver as a register under all the different event handler. So yeah, that's it. That's it for the demo. So you can ask any questions. I'm open to the questions right now.